Shut up and sit down.
Flummity flum flum, flummity flum flum, flummity flum flum. Hello gang, Colin here. Festa 67's workshop. Yes, and welcome to the Friday Frolic with me, Festa 67's workshop. Yes, folks, I'll fly in solo tonight. And yeah, happy days. The show must go on. So, as I said in the description, I'm a little bit dippier than normal tonight because it's been a long week for Festa and I've only had minimal kit this week because the boiler saga has been busting our proverbials this week. So I had to stay up again for the gas man. So, yeah, we've made it. We've got a show and, yeah, I'm an happy bunny. But most importantly, first thing I need to do, if you want to get the content still coming, you can help me out by supporting the channel. I'm not used to doing this without interruptions, folks. So, yeah, you can help me out by supporting the channel by going to patreon.com, Festa 67's workshop, or you can click the join button just down there and become a channel member, or the $sign to leave a super chat. All goes in a big part and helps pay for this. Yes, folks. And talking of great people, let's have a quick lookykins in the chat where all the intelligent people live. I've just seen John Alec in there, so I'm going to say a big thanks, John Alec, for the shout out you did earlier on, mate, for us and for the group build, mate. Massively appreciated, John. In the chat, we had Space Rangers Recording Studio saying, hi, Colin, hi, Fox. Yeah, Fox isn't here today. He messaged me. Apparently, he's got a coldy kins, but I reckon he's been up all day filming and he's just can't be CBA, let's be honest. Gotta go eat, says Spaced. I will try to catch your live. Not a problem, mate. You go and feed them face folds, mate, because that's the important bit. If you could let me know as well in the chat that audio and video's coming through all right, because you know what I'm like. I will pull my hair out. Hold up a minute. I will panic and, yeah, worry whether audio's coming through. Connie is in, says hi, Colin and crew. Hello, Connie, how are you? James is in, saying evening, Colin. All, he says in chat. All, not some. All of you. So big hello to James, Alicia and Shania. And if Shania's still up, it's go to bed, young lady, and do as you're told. You're supposed to be getting your sleep. John Christmas is in, saying hi, guys. Hello, John. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you in, fella. Hope you're keeping well, mate. PJ's in. He says, good evening, Colin, Ringo, and everyone in chat. Yes, he read the blurb, folks. The return of Ringo. Because I've been moving my bench around backwards and forwards for days on end, I've found little builds that I had put to one side and had started, and I'm bringing them all out to try to get them all finished, ready for relaunching in 24, because I want to just shake things up in 2024. Connie says, I am doing good. I'm chilling at work. IJC. Feet up on the bench, Connie, and a cup of tea, and yeah, chillax. Let the other people do the work. PJ says, Friday hugs, Connie, Dragon Lover 68. He says, hey up, Brick Boy to James. That's me in the chat going, yay. So PJ Lewis, how you doing, mate? And he says, all the better for being here supporting you, folks. Yeah, bless you. Hugh Gordon's in, saying good evening, Frolicers. Hello, Hugo, how you doing, mate? That's me saying, stop it or blubbing up to PJ. Dolcosaurus is in. He says, hello, Colin Fox, all people in Dogland. I hope everyone is having a wonderful afternoon and evening. Yeah, we are, mate. We are. It's just nice and chilled, isn't it? Hugh says, Uncle Festa. Yeah, Uncle Festa. John Alex says, hi to PJ. The Bobbins is in, saying, yo. In a rather yo kind of Bobbins way. How you doing, Bobbins? I hope you're keeping well, mate. John Alex says, hi, mate. Hello, John. How you doing, mate? I hope you're feeling all right, mate. PJ says, John, he says, you look somewhat familiar. Have we met before, as in a few seconds ago? Yeah, bless. You saying hello to John. Jeff Light is in, says hi to Cole and all in chat. Hello, Jeff. How you doing, mate? Big hugs to you, mate, and hugs to Maggie. Hope you're both keeping well. Wolf Richie is in, says hi all. Hugh says hello to Jeff. PJ's issuing Friday evening hugs to Maggie and Jeff, all in a nice way. Jeff says, oh, A&V is fine. Thank you very much, Jeff, for the feedback. As does Bobbins, sound and audio good. Thank you very much for your feedback, folks, because I do worry. Dolcosaurus has preempted my belly, bench and beverage by saying tonight is homemade hamburgers. Yes, folks, belly, bench and beverage. What's in the belly? What is on your bench? What is your beverage of choice on this wonderful Friday evening? Road trip the Dorcas, says PJ. Yeah, I'm up for that, PJ, mate. Do you want to book the private jet, mate? I reckon so, didn't you? We could be all like them geezers out of Criminal Minds, can't we? On our little private jet, just dropping wheels up in 30 and all of that lot. PJ says, Dorks, my door is always open. We're going to catch you out on that one day, Dorks, because you're going to say that and you're going to hear a knock at the door and us rabble. We're going to be stood there going, hello, geez. James says, I'll PM you at some point. Going to be doing something for you that may be interested in to go with something. Yeah, no worries, mate. Like I say, I'm contrary to popular belief. I ain't dead. It's just I'm taking a bit of a breather and a step back from things at the moment because of real life. So, you know, try not to badger me too much about not being in the Zoom at the moment, folks, because, you know, I do have real life stuff. And the more you badger me, the more stressed I get. And it's just kind of not fair on me. Dragon Lover says, hello, Bobbins. John Alex says hi to James. James says hi to John. As does Dorcosaurus saying hello to James. Yes, folks. For you. What have we got for you tonight? We've got the return of this poor little knackered old thing. Yeah, it's Ringo. Do you remember him? Ringo, the abandoned Beatle. Yes, I started this, oh, blimey, nearly a year ago. And it's been sat in this box, getting thrown around the man cave for months on end whilst I've been doing other stuff. And it kind of got forgotten. So, yeah, the usual, what's in all these boxes conversation happened during the week because I had to evacuate the man cave. And yeah, I found a lot of the builds that I had started. So they're all out, all in a stack there, and I'm hoping to get them all buttoned up and gone and done and dusted by the end of January, folks. So there's quite a backlog to catch up with. What was I doing on her? I did the base layer rust effect. I've done a pink primer, and I'm going to be going over, just taking off some of the paint, and I've been experimenting with a bit of a faded blue that'll all get weathered down. So that's what I've been up to with her. There's a load of gubbins going inside there. There's bumpers and that. That's just stuff that's kept there. I then started carving a wall for the backdrop many months ago out of a block of old styrofoam and started doing a brick texture on it, and I'll be doing some of these tonight showing you how I do that. I've got a belly and bench in from the Bobbins. Says belly Italian chicken risotto, beverage Talisker Sky Whiskey, bench assembling the many weapons for the F-15E. Hugh Golden says, Talisker, sorry, good dram. Oh, nice, yeah. Have one for me, mate. John Alec has put in $10. He says, thanks for hosting, mate, for all of us. Yeah, like I say, I wasn't going to pull the show because Fox let me know last minute that he wasn't coming in. And I thought, well, I'm not going to scrap the show because I'm sat here. I've been up all day looking forward to it, and I'm not going to let folks down. So, yeah, apologies if you turned up for little Lord Fauntleroy, but at the end of the day, you know, the show's got to go on, innit? PJ says, belly, bacon, egg, sausage, mushroom, tomato, fried bread. Oh, road trip to PJ's, Dorks. What do you reckon? Bench is 48, 48th Airfix Westland Links. Oh, nice one. Beverage beer. What beer? San Miguel, PJ. Connie says, dinner earlier was a foot-long hot dog with chili and cheese. Oh. Gatorade, tots and tea to drink, iPad with solitaire on desk. Good for you, Connie. My belly tonight, oh God, I think it's pie and mash if I remember right. I'm not 100% sure. Beverage, I've got a nice strong cup of black tea because that's how I roll, and I've got Got a litre bottle of my protein drink there. That's John Alex. Air guitar going up there. Many, many, many thanks, John. What else is there in the pipeline? I've been working this week on Tony Stark's Audi. Little bit of filming going on in the background for that, but it's been a very bitty week for me this week because every time I put something on the bench, the boiler's packed up and I've had to pack everything away again. So fingers crossed we can have a little run now because I want to catch up on everything. What else have we got that we're going to be showing you tonight? Oh, some of you might be interested in this. I don't know, but some of you might not be. This is the glass for Ringo. Basically, what I'm doing, he says, try not to drop any of the ones he's already done because you know what I'm like, I am clumsy. So let's bring them out, all of that, for a minute. Need to keep that. Let's sling that out of the way for a minute. What's on there? Oh, yeah, that's a little bit of the wound-up window on the door. Right. They come with the windows all in one unit like that. Well, on one door, on this door, I just want the front quarter glass, and then the windows wound down, which is a little sliver in there. So that just gives that a little bit of character. And then we're going from clear glass to damaged glass. And what I've started doing is I've started putting the cracks in the windows, see? Where someone's thrown a stone or they've shot the car, you know, where it's been abandoned in the garden. And stones have been thrown at it and things. So I've been starting to do little cracked windows and playing with that. So there's another one that's on the go there where it's been and had a stone thrown at it. See that? And that just gives you that cracked glass look. And then once this is had all the washes and everything like that put on it, it should start bringing that to life and accumulating all the dirt and crud in them little cracks because I've got the moss effect to go on there around the hole and all of that lot. So I'll get a couple of them done as well tonight, just show you a little bit of that. And then I want to take a bit more of the paint off of Ringo. Ready to put a little bit of the blue on there. So that's what I'm up to today, folks. And I was saying the other day about the Frolic, it's going to be going forward what I'm currently have on the bench. Because I do randomly just pick up a kit and go, I'm going to do something on that today. But I just want to try and give the Friday show a little bit more variety because you don't want to see me doing the same build for 25 weeks. You know, that's why if I do the 1/8 scale E-type on the stream, it's going to be a long build. And I want to do stuff in increments so that you don't get bored. So that's the plan. Right, I'm rambling already, so let's drop the shell off of this because I've done a bit on that, so this might be a little bit finicky to get off because part of it was taped on, well, the bonnet in place. So we'll see how we get on. If it comes off in one piece, I'll be happy. If it don't, I shall cry like a girl. Because I only put this back on last night and I had to wedge it on and I might have been a bit heavy-handed. There you go. So we've got the bumpers. They're going to be pinned on the front of the car at a jaunty angle. And this is going to go on a base, hence why I've got rather wide pads on the deflated tyres. It's so that I can glue it on the base and then bring dirt, dust and detritus up to conceal the actual mounting points. We've got a bit of a cruddy, knackered old interior going on because, yeah, it's Ringo, isn't it? He's been abandoned, the forgotten Beetle. See what I mean? Got a bit of a rusted engine. That's got to have shed loads of washes on it. Bumpers have got to have bits of moss and things. And then I've got a primered wing that I scribed off of the front of the car. This is the replacement panel and they come with that black paint on them. So that's going to just live underneath the bonnet there. The bonnet's going to be posed in a slightly open position. Let's just lose that bit of tape, Cole. Get rid of that. There you go. So that's going to be posed in an open position, and then you're going to have like the wing poking out and things like that. That's the wing mirror. Don't lose that, Cole. Let's pull that off of there. Actually, no, we'll leave that on because I'm blending the back end. So that's what I'm going to be up to. So I'm just going to beaver away and potter about with it. Now, next to me on my left, I've got a pot of heated water on my little cup. Just there. So I should be dipping my brush in that. And I've got several of these brushes where I cut the bristles off. And I find these really good at weathering the cars and getting the paint off the different layers when I'm stripping it off. So that's what I tend to use on mine. There are a million other ways of doing it, but it works for me. And I just literally start running the water around and taking the paint off, and it literally is that quick, folks. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to be doing. What we got? John Alex says the hobby boss on the bench, Jackal 2, the 135th. Yeah, the good day are the old Jackals. Beverage is a rye, and belly will be a bacon cheeseburger and fries. Love that. James says, I love the look of that effect there. It's getting there, James. I mean, this Ringo build, I wanted to do a few weathered abandoned vehicles because it's something I love looking at, and I do watch a lot of other channels that do this sort of work. People like Laser Creation World, Night Shift, Martin Kovac, you know, and I watch and look in awe at what these folks can do, and I've always wanted to have a bit of a go at it. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be as good as them, not by a long shot, because they're next level modelers at the end of the day, and I'm just a fat, bald old Festa. But I'm going to have a damn good go at it. So that's what I'm doing. And hopefully this little journey of Festa times is going to be something that cheers you all up. I'm just wetting this, and then I can go along the seams in a bit of a swirlykins. I'd lose a lot of this effect because I shall have blue paint going in a few places over the pink, but I just want it to look a bit battered. Kids have been jumping up and down on it, that sort of thing. And then we're going to have a few tarpaulins on her, or him. Where I've dented the roof, there's going to be like an old moss-coloured puddle in the roof, that sort of thing. And then coming off the back wall, there'll be a batten with a tarp and a few oil drums with crud in and bonfire detritus and all of that going on, because it's in the corner of the garden, all abandoned and forgotten. And yeah. So that's kind of the storyline behind it. I'm going to do a little base for it with a bit of static grass, bit of dirt, bricks, things like that. Nothing massive, but just something to sit it on, and it'll be just Ringo the abandoned beetle, folks. And hopefully you enjoy what happens with him. He's going to be making random appearances on the Friday show because I want to try and rotate everything up, as I said earlier, so that you don't get bored. Also, there's a big debate going on over live streams and commercial breaks and all of that lot. And I know it's frustrating for people, but at the end of the day, I don't work. And I need to try to make ends meet. The cost of Zoom's gone up. The cost of StreamYard's gone up. And yeah, so the only way I can afford all of this is by having a bit of ad revenue. Now, I will switch it all off. But there will come a point when my money runs out. So I'm in that awkward dilemma. And I get why people get frustrated. But at the end of the day, I am trying to make ends meet. So hopefully you can just understand to be a little bit more sympathetic rather than keep busting my ear holes, because given the choice, if I had the funds, I would demonetize everything, but I can't afford to. If it's bothering you that much, I'll shut it all down and switch off all the adverts. But I don't know how long I'll be able to fund the hobby then. So you might end up only seeing a few more streams and then I'm gone. So just bear that in mind before you have a go at me, folks. It is a thing. I'm not the only one who live streams with adverts, but I do get a lot of stick for it for some reason. We'll just give that a scrape on there. And I've been quite aggressive with this, you'll notice, with the poor old bonnet there letting out all kinds of crunchy noises. But it's because, one, this paint's been on here quite a while, because I put the fluid on there about 8 months ago, so it's quite aggressive to get off, but it's coming off. But I don't want this side to be as bare as the other one, because I want to stipple some blue over it just to give that little bit of contrast with the bonnet. What have we got going on there? Let's have a lookykins. The Beetle looks cool. Oh, thanks, mate. Says Space Rangers. Donald McKenzie is in saying good evening. Hello, Donald. How are you, buddy? Exactly. It takes money to survive in this world. It does, Space Rangers. You know, I had to take medical retirement a good few years back because of MS, and at the end of the day, you know, I couldn't afford to do this hobby if it wasn't for the kind support of all your patrons and channel members. But also, you do have to make a bit from the ad revenue, and it ain't a lot. I've tried to restrict it as much as I can, because if I let YouTube do it, you'd get ad breaks every 10 minutes. So I have switched it to 30 minutes, but I can switch it off totally. But bear in mind, we all sit at home watching football matches and Formula One, and you get ad breaks on it, don't you? So it gives you a chance to make a cup of tea, doesn't it, and get away from my rambling. So it's a win-win. I've got that dilemma. I don't know what direction to go with it. You know, I was going to throw me teddies out and just switch off adverts, because I must admit, I do take it personally when people comment, because I think it's a personal dig and I need to not think that. But sometimes it just feels the world is at you, and all you're trying to do is get by and enjoy the hobby, because this is my mental health therapy. It stops me from doing silly things when my demons get me. And to keep it going, unfortunately, I've got to look at ways of earning money. Otherwise, I've got to stop the hobby. That simple. And I don't want to do that. Hopefully you don't want me to do that. So yeah, we'll have a lookykins and see what we can do. Yeah, go. What's going? Ad revenue don't pay much, but every little bit helps. It does, mate. It really does. James says, keep them going as much as you can. Technically, we're still supporting you to watch ads too, but I know, mate. But like I say, I've had a few people recently comment, you know, and I get messages as well. And I get it. I get people getting the ump. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, you know, the bulk of my revenue that I get through Patreon pays for the Zoom 24/7, and also, you know, the $49.99 for StreamYard. So it's a big hit to take when you don't earn anything. So that's what the money goes on at the moment. And as costs go up, unfortunately, I've got to look at the adverts, because, yeah. But anyway, that's the last I'm going to say on the subject now, because hopefully you understand the reasoning, but, you know, it's just one of them things. Let's just get a bit of that going on there. The eagle-eyed will notice there's a line there. I'm very heavy-handed, and I was squeezing this to do something, and I broke the middle spar on it. And much Festa shenanigans and Dick Dastardly happened, but it's glued together now, and it should have a bit of paint on it, and I shall be laying a little tarpaulin across the screen anyway, so it'll hide it. So that's the beauty of weathering, folks, because when you're a clumsy oaf like me with big Pat Jennings hands, you do break things. Right. What else is there going on? I'm going to post up some pictures later, once this show ends, of me progress on the Tony Stark Audi. A lot of people have reached out because I put a photograph up during the week of it sat in the spray booth, and a few people reached out and started sort of, oh, you know, what you up to there? And it's garnered a little bit of interest. So I am filming some of it as well. It's just going to be a short little instrumental video on what I've done with it. So yeah, I'll put some more progress pictures up later on so folks can see it. I expect one to be on James's bench by the end of the day. See what I did there, James. But no, all joking aside, thanks for the feedback people have been giving me on it. It's one of them little builds. It very nearly got done in a completely different paint scheme, and I'm glad I put it to one side and give it a bit more of a looky-loo, because yeah, I actually prefer the way I went with the build, to be honest, because I was going to do it as the Rossi DTM car, but I thought, well, it's been done to death now, the Valentino stuff. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rossi, don't get me wrong, but I kind of wanted to do something slightly different. And I watched Iron Man trilogy and I thought, you know something? Yeah. So that's what I went for with that. So let's let that dry a little bit, get rid of that. And whilst that's going on, I can do a little bit of carvykins on the brick wall. We've got that wing mirror to put back on, haven't we? Because that went well for you, Carl. So let's glue that back in place. What else is going in there? Matt B says hello to Jeff and PJ. Space Rangers is saying hi to Donald. Hello, Donald. How you doing? Anyone else come in? Let's scroll up and have a looky-loo. No, they haven't. Yeah. If I do miss any of your comments in chat, just remind me, and I'll go back up and have a looky-kins. It's not a deliberate thing. But I am a man of a certain age, and I do forget that I'm live at times. So, yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm useless. And those that know me know that I'm useless. So, there you go. That poor little wing mirror, see, it's just the bolt's rusted and it's just gone, eek. So, there you go. So let's put you just there for a minute. Where's my brick wall? Bring me glass over as well. Let me bring, I'll tell you what, talking of glass. Did I have my drill bits out? Put me glass. That'll go. Doofus. I put it back in the bag. Yeah, I did. Pilchard. There you go. Let's try and do that. What one's that? It's the front windscreen, isn't it? Yeah. We've done that one. We've done that one. We leave that one. That's the side. That's against the wall, so that's not going to have many breaks in it because it's got the tarpaulin in there. That's my theory. So we've got the windscreen now. Someone's bound to have thrown a stone at that, ain't they? Because I would have. Okie doke. Let's get a drill bit. Pop a drill bit in. And we'll start doing a little bit on that. Now, do we want a big hole or a small hole? Let's have a medium size hole. One of them. Space says, where's Fox tonight? Apparently he's got a cold, mate. He let me know not long before the stream went that him and Mum are feeling a little bit under the weather. So yeah. I still think he's been filming something at the bench and he just got tired and he couldn't be asked. Bless him. But yeah. I thought, do you know something? The show must go on, folks, because I'm sat here. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to cancel the show. So if you could tolerate just me on my own, fine. If, you know, if you can't, then in future I won't do the Friday stream if he doesn't turn up, folks. But I don't like letting folks down. And at the end of the day, there you go. So it's got a tiny little hole started off. Just like that, where a stone's hit it. John Alex says, thumbs up, please. Yes, it all helps the video get recommended across the YouTube, folks. So, yeah, the thumbs ups really do help. So give it a bit of thought. Helps me out, helps the channel out, boosts the video's popularity. And it's just nice, isn't it? So, yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's up to you. Obviously, with a thumbs down, you've got to press it twice. See what I did? Let's just use that to cut through there. But yeah, it does help the video get recommended to folks. There you go. Why not do another one, Cole? Because yeah, the kids have been desperate to break this window, and they've had a good go at it. So we'll have a bit of that. Not worried about the holes in the cutting mat. It's just I don't want to lean it on my finger because I know what will happen. I'll break the corner of the window off. And yeah, I'm doing broken glass, but I want to... There you go. We won't go all the way through with that one because the stone that was thrown at that wasn't a particularly big one. All right. So we've got a couple of holes in that one over there. So we can pop this out of here, fling them away. Like that. And then we can start with that. So I'm going to put a little bit of severe tape over the back end of that just so that I can actually see where I'm drawing. Let's see whether or not we can help Festa out there by seeing what he's doing, because at the moment I can't quite see that because it's transparent. So let's just bung a bit of that on the back end, just to help me see where I'm drawing my lines. There you go. Space Ranger says, yeah, it's all good, mate. Happy days, mate. PJ says, Fox is playing hooky with the sniffles. Yeah, he is a bit of a princess, don't forget. So if there's any colds, and the thing is I noticed during the week in the chats there were several hints being dropped that he had the sniffles. So I kind of expected it, to be honest with you. And I don't mind, you know, at the end of the day. But I will mock him because that's the rule with us two. And it's a rule on the E-Models show. If any of us can't make it, everyone else has carte blanche to mock us. So that's how this mockery starts. And I had it. I've been and missed a few E-Model shows recently, and they'll gang up on me and mock me, and I expect nothing less from them. So it gives me carte blanche when Fox don't turn up, because I can mock him, see. So, yeah. The conspiracy theorists still think we've had a fallout, but we haven't. We're fine and dandy. He's put on a very epic, brave battle with this cold. He's fought it like a man. Now, hold up a minute. Let's not try to lie to you all, because you can see right through that. He's fought it like the princess that he is. Yeah. What I'm doing here is I'm using my knife just to start building a spider web. See? On the cracked glass. Hopefully you're picking that up. And it's basically a spider web, and then I'll start by dabbing some extra thin through the hole, because it'll fog it up, and then I shall work the extra thin along the cracks. I'll just do little lines of extra thin and let it all fog up, and eventually that will then give you the beginnings of that effect, which is what we're after. Let's just get my handprint. There you go. It will start giving you that effect where the glass is delaminated a bit, and then when you put your washes in there, it'll pick all of that lot out. That's what I'm trying to do, folks. Jeff is in. Candygram for Mongo. Apologies, Jeff. I'm no good at doing Carl Sagan, mate, so you'll just have to put up with a Festa wave, mate. But yeah, the legend of Jeff is in the chat. And I always feel very privileged when you all turn up because, you know, you all do support me and you all comment on me stuff and give me really good constructive feedback of, you know, things I can try and techniques. And I do listen to you all. So, yeah, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all of that. Look. I'll just carry on radiating some of these cracks out. And then I'll start with this one, bringing that across some of these cracks where attempts have been made on multiple times by these lovely little kids that live across the street. Ringo's parked on an end terrace. And he's got a nice bit of wallykins like that. But just over there, at the back there, is where the rowdy kids live. And they keep climbing on this wall and sitting there and throwing stones on poor old Ringo. And Ringo's getting the hump with it. But they sit there and they try to do it. I might actually try to get a little figure sat on the wall throwing a stone. So we'll see whether we can integrate something like that into her. But, yeah, poor old geezer that has been trying to restore this thing has given up on it because every time he did a bit of work on it, someone broke a bit more off. So, yeah. And poor old Ringo sitting there, can't defend himself. He's not feeling the love. So, yeah. I was tempted to throw a couple of old decayed drums on the back seat, and I'm still thinking of it. You know, a drum with a broken skin on it and things like that, you know, just to tie it in. It's not a pea take out of Mr. Star. It's just my little, you know, nod to that era. And it's, you know, the forgotten Beatle, isn't he? Always has been. But he's Helen's favourite Beatle. Whenever anyone says to her, oh, who's your favourite Beatle? She goes, oh, Ringo. And they all go, really? She says, don't you diss Ringo? It's like, yeah. So this build will actually go into Helen's cabinet because, yeah, she likes this little idea. It's one of those. She pops out into the bench, one, to check that I'm not dead, but also just get an idea of what I'm up to. And she likes the thought process. This is why I write everything down. A bit like PJ does. We make notations in all our instruction sheets. But also we write down our ideas, and I'm a graph paper sketching type fella as well. So when I do the brick walls and things, I sketch them out on a bit of graph paper. And then I start making everything for it. So she likes this little idea, and she sat in the chair and she's like, claimed. And I'm like, yeah, all right, that's going in H's cabinet in the lounge. Every now and then she'll see a build of mine that she just has got to have on display. Pardon me, she's already claimed the black coach. I've got the Warhammer black coach to build, and she's already said that's hers. So like the defiant husband I am, I put up a really, really strong, resilient defence of resistance, and just immediately went, yeah, you can have it, love. Right, so we've got the beginnings of them going on. So we'll just put a few random little ziggers coming out. Like that. That's a zigger sound, folks. And then we'll put a dab of extra fin in there, and we'll start getting this all clagged up, folks. I'm really hoping that I've done that on the right side of the window, to be honest with you. But if I haven't, I don't care. Happy accidents and all of that. Right, let's pop that on the front of there. And that is now started giving me that effect. See what I'm doing? There you go. And then I can start whopping a little bit of extra fin in the middle of them drill holes and letting that fog up, and then I shall go along these lines and just let the extra fin fog them up, and eventually it will start mist in the glass. I used to use super glue to do this, but I found it a bit aggressive, and I spent more time with a Q-tip and IPA on it, cleaning it off, than actually doing the cracks. So I changed my format. Dolcosaurus says, got that name from a friend of mine. I'm always watching stuff about science. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Science is fun. It really is. I do like all of this science, cosmos programs, space. I watch a lot of the how they do the CGI stuff in movies and all of that. What have we got going on? Everyone's saying morning to Jeff. Space says, yeah, it looks cool, the cracks. Absolutely, mate. It's all part of different little techniques, you know, and I saw different people doing this on YouTube with different techniques, and I've kind of, over the years, just picked little bits up and then adjusted it to suit me. And big shout out to all of those people whose ideas I shamelessly steal. But there's a million ways to do this, and I understand that. This way works for me. And I'm not worried about accuracy, because I do want it to look natural, if that makes sense. He says after drilling holes in there. PJ has been a member for 20 months, and he's put in a little reminder there. So I've got to do it. Underneath Ringo's rusty arches. And these will all be rusted up, PJ, before the shell goes on, mate. So, absolutely. Got to be done, innit? Poor little Ringo. I do feel sorry for it, because it's nice. It's actually a really, really nice little kit. And it is a shame when you start chopping a kit up. But like I say, not every build I do is going to be a clean build. I like to vary it up. And yeah, I ummed and ahed about doing it, and I was going to do it to a Mini. I got the little Tamiya Mini Cooper. But having owned many Minis in my life, I just couldn't bring myself to do it to it. And H wanted or wants me to do the Mini as a replica of her first Mini that she had. So that's what I'm going to do. Luckily, she's got photos of it, because women do take photos of their cars and give them names, don't they? So I said I'll do a little vignette of her little Mini, and I've got a 3D figure that I've done. So I shall just paint it and use photographs of what H looked like back then. And yeah, she'll have the full-blown 1980s Elvira hairdo and all of that lot, be sat in the car, and yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. So the Mini will become her first car that she bought. That I actually wrote off, but we won't go into that. Yeah, I'm amazed she stayed with me. Her beloved little Mini, yeah. She reversed into the corner of a building. She was waving to one of her mates and didn't realise, and yeah, she had the car in reverse, and as she's leaning and getting her mate's attention, oh, look at me and me Mini. Yeah, she kind of let the clutch back and at great speed slammed the corner of the car into this building. So I was taking it to my workshop, and I'm sitting there as we're driving along the road explaining to the wife that she needs to be more observant when she's driving, and I rear-ended a tow truck and wrote her Mini off. Yeah. So my little plan on explaining to the wife on how she needs to be more observant actually backfired big time on me. So yeah. And she's enjoyed over the years reminding me that I destroyed the love of her life, her little Mini. And do I feel guilty about it? No. I thought I'd whisper that just in case. But yeah. So then now we could just start scratching at the surface as well. And this will have many layers of this extra thing going over it, just to try to scratch it up and fade it up and just take the sheen off of the middle area where this glass has had an impact. Because the glue itself just bites into the surface enough to let the scraper start fogging it up. And there's, I don't know whether that's picking up, but already the middle of that circle is just starting to fog. Like so. That's what we're trying to do. Oh, bless you. PJ's put a super chat in of £10, he says. Have some coinage, Cole. You're worth every penny. Actually, you're worth far more. Yeah, gosh. I'll start blubbing up in a minute, PJ. You know what I'm like. And, yeah. So, out of interest, PJ, you know me well enough and know how I tick. You know, the ad revenue thing, you know, do you think I should kill it and just run without? You know, I trust your judgment. But it's one of them, it's bugging me at the moment. And I want everyone to be happy. I'll run it on my videos, don't get me wrong, but if it's really becoming an issue on the lives, I will knock it off. It's not a problem. But, obviously, I will take a hit for it, but I'm happy to do that if it's... For me, my main goal with all of this is to try and get you all to feel involved. That's why every year I try to change things up on the live shows. And the Frolic, you know, I'm adamant I don't want it to turn into... I'm going to be building this, like, say, for instance, the Bluey car or the Orc Stomper. And then it's 6 months later, I'm still doing the same build because... To me, that's not fair on the viewer because you kind of want to see different things on here. And I'm always saying I build anything and everything. And I want you to see more of that. So for me to say that and say I build anything, I've got to deliver on that. So the only way I can do that is just shake up the Frolic a little bit. I don't mind what Fox does. He can do his Warhammer on each side of the screen. I kind of need to keep myself stimulated, and at the moment I feel that I'm getting a bit stale, and that shows up on the live streams because if I'm not feeling it, I go on autopilot and I start, I wouldn't say becoming disinterested, but I need to keep changing things up and having variety. I get bored with builds very quickly. And I want to get them done and dusted. And if I'm not filming, I can build a bike in a couple of days and it's done, dusted and on the shelf. And I kind of want these shows where people can see that I'm happy doing cars, bikes, planes, bit of this, bit of that, you know, and doing different stuff, really. I don't want it to become boring for you all. Those of you that are mates of mine on Scale Mates, me stash is online. Have a look through it, and if there's builds in there that are floating your boat and you think, oh yeah, I didn't realise he had one of them, I'd like to see him build that, then I'll bring them in and I'll do little updates on the Frolic, you know, and I'll just drag it out, put it on the bench, like Ringo. Going to do a bit of Ringo this week, folks. Boom, there you go. Next week it might be, oh, I've got this MotoGP bike, the Marc Marquez bike, or the Mad Max car that I'm doing. It could be something to do with that. Or the big 1.8V type. I could be sitting there going, well, I'm doing a bit of custom detail work where I've picked PJ's ear holes and gone, right, cables, wiring looms, things like that. And I could sit there just looming up and detailing up an engine. So it's your show. This is all for you at the end of the day. And if it shakes it up and helps you feel a bit more interested and seeing different things, I will do that. Happily do that, because I thrive on audience satisfaction at the end of the day. And if I'm feeling stale, I think, well, if I'm feeling like that, what are the viewers thinking? Not many live streamers ask their audience, do they? And I could be making an absolute huge mistake, but I trust you all and have known you all for a lot of years and trust your opinions and feedback. And I wouldn't ask if I didn't respect you, so give it a bit of thought, see what you think. There you go. Rambling away like a good one. PJ says, no, we all hate the ads, but we need you to keep this stream going. You do what you need, that you need to finance. So sorry, folks, the ads need to stay. It is one of those. I mean, PJ, bless him, but I don't think he'll mind me saying, but he's worked in advertising and as a graphic designer and things like that. And he understands marketing and things far better than I do. I'm not, you might have noticed, I'm not great at pimping myself. I'm not very good at the whole marketing thing. So when you come across a person like PJ, where that's his niche, it's good for me because I can pick his brains on it. And that's why I ask his opinion, because it was his job at the end of the day. So, yeah, let's get a bit of that on there. A little bit of IPA. Just want to run a cocktail stick with some IPA along the areas I don't want the glue stains. Only a smidge. He says only a smidge. How long do you give it before I knock that bottle over, folks? Just asking. Because it's bound to happen, in it, because it is me. Yeah. So let's just get a little bit of IPA on some of that, just to knock those back a bit. It gets rid of any glue overrun. So this has got so many washes going on it as well, bless it. Desperately try not to lean on that corner of the glass because I will break it. And I'll cry like a girl, folks. I've already had one blood this week. Don't even know why. It's just one of them. I go through that every now and then. You sit there and you get, I don't know. Yeah. People do good things, don't they? And do good things for you. And I normally sort of, yeah. And then I start analysing and thinking it and I get all sentimental. So we've got a couple of cracked bits of glass there. I said cracked, I do believe. Let's just get my hand on there. See that, folks? Have you a bit of that? It's got cracks in it. I'm going to leave that at that and let the glue do its thing. And then I shall come back and then do a bit of grime and things like that once the windows are in, because I want to put the windows in the car so that when I do all the washes, everything gets uniform coatings, because I've done it before where I've done the car, then I've done the windows. And you can see that the windows were fitted after the car because there's slight differences in the weathering, and I want to kind of get a uniform weathering effect going on that. So let's park that up there. We can stick the bonnet back on now that we've done a bit of weathering on that, because I shall be putting some blue on in a little minute. That's no reference to the Bluey car there, Dreyfus. I just thought I'd clarify that, because whenever I say the words blue or bluey, yeah, poor PJ, he gets a really little nervous tick. But it will be making a return to the bench in the new year, purely and simply so that I can build the base for it. And folks have asked me about the base, what I'm going to do with it, and am I going to show how I do it. So I will do that, but it'll be little short interludes of it. But let's just get those, because I need those to round the edges of the bricks. So let's grab my little photo etch bending stuff, because I want the little applicators out of them. Oh, all three of them are missing, so I've left them out somewhere. Okay, that was a good bit of foresight there, Cole, wasn't it? I've obviously left them out somewhere safe, so I need to have a stand up anyway, so I'll have a look to see where I've put them. And then when I do find them, I shall put them back in the packet, because that's the first place I went to look for them. So, obviously, I was having a bit of a clean-up mission, so just have a looky, kins, to see where we can find them. If I can't, it's no biggie, but yeah, one of them. Just put that on there for a minute. See whether I've got them under there. Yeah, there they are. Note to self, Cole. Put them back in the correct place. What have we had there? Candygram Fernando donated $10 through Super Chat. Thank you very, very, very much, Jeff. He says 10 stars for quality entertainment and great information. Cheers at Festa 67's workshop. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for that, mate. You know what I'm like, mate. I am a bit of an old wet blanket. I do sit here, I stress, I get myself worked up over the most stupidest of things. Because you get that idea in your head that people aren't happy, and then you start overthinking the whole world, don't you? That's my weakness. I can almost create my own issues that aren't actually there. And then I convince myself that it is there. And that's when I get myself all in a daft place. And people pick me up on it in the hangout and go, yeah. So there you go. So that's what I was after. I was after them for a reason. Purely and simply because it's what I use to roll the edges and form the pointing or mortar cracks on my bricks. So as you can see, I've done all of that lot and started all the texture on it, and I'll show you how I do the texture in a minute. But basically, the reverse side is nice and flat. So my first stage is I just put in a brick line. And I have this little thing that was basically a little bit of styrene, and it's actually a 35th scale brick, or a 24th scale brick, should I say. So, yeah. So that's what I use to get the lines in the right place. So I'll hold it on there, and then I just drop the knife each side of it. And I'll make my brick line and work my way along the wall like that. And I don't make a complete line, I just make a mark, because that's when the white parts come in. And this is a self-built wall, so Guy the gardener built this, so he's not the most accurate bricky. But then you see, you use these. These are out of a photo etch bending set that you saw me use, and you got different sizes of these. But I worked out that this size here is the perfect one for the uprights for the brick wall, see? And you just put them in, and you give them a little wiggle, backwards and forwards. You're just trying to round the edge of the brick. Just like that. Okay. Have you a bit of that. Then you use the bigger ones to come down the way. Like that. And just start rounding them off. And what that'll do is, one, it'll give you a nice rebate for when you put the mortar in, but it'll start giving you a bit of round edge definition on your bricks. See? And then my stubby brush that I used on Ringo just now comes back into play, and I stipple the bricks with it, just pressing down on the foam, and let the brush just start putting a bit of texture on the bricks. Another way of doing this is sharp sand, and for the sharp sand, and just rub the front of it with a sharp sand and let the sand find all the crooks and nannies, but it'll start rubbing into the brickwork. But this foam's got quite a soft texture to it, and I find with this little brush, I can start stippling all the way along them bricks and start getting a bit of texture. Subtle enough, see? And it starts putting little dips and dimples. And then you can press on the brush. You can either press on the handle and do a dip that way, but I tend to lean on the brush a bit, and it'll put a little curve in the brick. And then if you want to push a brick back, put your hands nicely behind it. Find a brick that you want to sit back slightly. Put your little tool on there. That sounded wrong, Cole. And just start rolling it along the brick. And I tend to lean on one edge. And what that'll do is that'll start sitting the brick back in the wall. See it? just enough to make it look uneven. Then you'll come back with your little tool, redo your line, just like so. And as you can see, that'll give you a little recessed brick. And it's just enough to sit it back and create a little bit of depth. See the little shadow line on it? And that's all you're trying to do. It's that easy. James says he's headed off ski to bed. Great show as always, Cole. Catch up soon. I'll be probably here. I'll go until 2 and then I shall call it a night then. That'll be a couple of hours I've done then. Because I've been up since, Wednesday afternoon. So, yeah, if I do get a bit dippy and a bit derpy, I'll apologise in advance, folks. I'm desperately trying not to say the wrong thing, because when I get tired, I start rambling, as you notice. And it's only nerves, but I will start rattling on and repeating myself. So if it does happen, just let me know. And if you want to do a cracked brick, which we'll do on that one, just pop your knife in. I'll just form a little crack along the brick. Just where that corner there has got stressed and has started to break away. And use the tip of your blade to just form your little grooves and your little crooks and nannies. And as you can see, that has separated that enough. Just put a little crack in the corner. There you go. Learning with Festa. Who would have thought it? And that's all you got to do. So I'll give a big shout out to Night Shift on this, because I do watch his stuff and I can sit and watch him do barns and outbuildings for hours and hours and hours. And a lot of what he does, I have a go at doing. And it's like anything, you see different ways of doing things from different builders. And I just like that variety. And I used to do this sort of thing years and years and years ago out of Dax clay and things like that. But I hadn't really thought of trying it with the foam, and I sat in the lounge one night and I was having a particularly low ebb in life, should we say. And I just sat there, done this out of a spare bit of foam and just had a play whilst watching one of the videos, and yeah, kind of enjoyed it. I found it really therapeutic. So it's opened my eyes up, because I'm doing a build for KA.Models with the milk truck and that, and I'm going to be doing a vignette for it. It's basically a little scene that I'll be doing, but there's going to be cobbled roads and, you know, the lower parts of building walls and things like that, and a bit of cracked plaster and, pardon me, stuff like that. And a lot of what I'm doing today, I should be doing on that build as well. So it lets people see that, you know, you can create things quite easily when you put your mind to it. And that's what it's all about for me. Just finding different ways of doing stuff. Because I'm a bit of an old wet blanket, and I like to try and keep myself interested in the hobby, otherwise I go stale. Go a bit longer with a couple of these just to get the brick lines a bit better. There you go. Apologies if my hand's in the way, but being right-handed, yeah. Clues in the get another webcam, Cole, and have it on this side, because I used to have this camera over here. But I moved everything electric away from the aquarium, because the aquarium's that side. And that's why things have had to move around on the bench. My Xbox now lives in a cupboard just along there, and it all slides out on a frame that I built. So when I open the door, the Xbox slides out on its own little set of runners on a shelf. And I've got the same to my right with the printer. I've then got a plotter cutter, one of these masking tape template making machines, a Silhouette Cameo. Got that. So everything in the cupboards here. As soon as you open the door, something's there. And I can remember Helen had a print job, and I said, use the printer in the man cave, and came out here, and about 10 minutes passed, and her head peeked in the lounge. I'm either blonde or an idiot. She said, I can't figure out what. She said, but I know you've got a printer here. She said, but I just can't see it anywhere. I went, drawer on your right-hand side, love. Just pull the handle, pull the drawer out. I said, the printer's in there, love. And she was gobsmacked. She was like, how cool is that? So that was it. And then she started finding all the hidden cubby holes in the man cave. And that's when my secret stash of chocolate things got located. And yeah. So yeah, they ended up back in the kitchen. She found my sweet stash. Bless her. So we'll just carry on marking these out. Might as well do all of these, and then we can sit and do a bit of nice relaxing brickwork. What I tend to do as well with these bases is I use the foam. A couple of layers of this to raise the base, and then I'll put a veneer around it. So this gives it a little bit of a nice smooth effect. So let's get my little tools out. Jeff saying take care of the Janes. Good night, James. Sleep well, mate. Matt B's got to go to sleep. He said night, everyone. Take care, buddy. PJ says laters, Matt. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. And Dorkosaurus is saying good night to Matt B. Absolutely. And that's the thing with this show. I'm mindful of the fact that it's late at night for the Brits. But also I like to capture me American friends at a time that is a little bit easier for them as well. So this little Friday time slot I do enjoy doing. And I'm a night hawk anyway. So, you know, not sleeping a lot. I'm up overnight either filming part works or airbrushing or whatever, just to keep myself occupied. Because when you don't sleep a lot, PJ does this, I know he does, because we message each other. And if we can't sleep, you make a cup of tea and you just come back out to the man cave and do a couple of hours on the kit just to stop yourself getting stressed because you can't sleep. Quite often it'll be the late night bench visit. And then, of course, I get distracted with it, and then H suddenly comes in. You're up early, love. Awkward moment. Do I tell her I've been up all night? Which she'll guess anyway. It's a great cure, this hobby. It really is. It's an insomniac's dream, really. Get this in there like so. Poor little bricks. And then we can start edging some of these now. So let's come that way to round them off. And then we'll come the other way to round the other side off. Some of these will get pushed back, but there will be tarpaulins hanging off this wall. There's going to be like a wooden batten going along it that's been screwed to the wall with a rolled up tarp on it as an attempt at a cover that failed miserably because it rotted. So yeah. And again, I don't know whether to put a bit of graffiti on the wall, because would graffiti be on the inside of a garden wall? It wouldn't, would it? It'd be on the outside. So unless he's done it himself, where he's been tested out his airbrush to paint Ringo. There might be a little bit of spatter. But I might just go for a bit of streaking, a bit of moss, a bit of detritus between the mortar where little bits of moss has started forming. So, well, you don't know. Perhaps the owner of the garden's a bit of an artist and he's had a little bit of a sketch up or tried to do a Banksy or something like that. I don't know. His name with the airbrush. Who knows? Have a couple of posters. few of you with your channel logos could have a few of them on there where the posters have been on the wall and they've started coming off. Who knows? This could be the back wall of an old workshop that's collapsed that Ringo was in. So you could have a few little beams and things where the shed, you know, the shed or the workshop's fallen down and there's old remnants where the bench used to be on the wall and old posters. So it could be, like you say, a derelict workshop. Oh, that might work. What do you reckon, peeps? You know, and a few broken beams where the workshop's collapsed and abandoned bricks. I like that idea. Right. Let's do a bit of stipplage. Start getting them going. Now, I must admit, that's got a bit of an appeal to it, that idea. So, thanks for that, folks. Me yattering away there's just popped an idea in the canister, so... yeah, could do that. Could have the remains of a notice board hanging up with all the modelers' stickers, because we do like a sticker, don't we, in this community? So we could have a bit of that, you know. There could be a Festa's logo, a PJ's logo, a JC's logo, Dorkosaurus, you know, all your logos on just little bits and bobs. Oh, yeah. Be a stain on the wall where the workbench was. Just have one wooden beam and a bit of, yeah, rotten wood and splinters. Collapsed roof, bit of corrugated where the roof's collapsed, and that could just be hanging down and floated in midair. I like this idea. A bit wonky on some of them bricks there, Cole, wouldn't you? Yeah. Do like a diagonal line there, Cole, so we'll disguise them as best we can. Yeah. Getting carried away with yourself there, Cole, wasn't you, mate? Okay, so let's find the worst offenders and just give them a twisty kins. There you go, round the edges of the brick off, and that's all you got to do, folks. Your lines end up wonky, just give it a bit of a twist. That's the sound of a twist. See? Very Beatles themed, isn't it? Twist. Wasn't that a record, Twist and Shout? Was that a Beatles record? I think it was, wasn't it? There you go. I've used some of that. What's your Christmas plans this year, folks? Have you got family coming to stay with you or anything like that? I'm taking the week off. Family time. So, and not only that, there's always a traditional fight for the airwaves at Christmas, where everyone ends up streaming over each other. And I don't like streaming over people, so I just shut everything down and let everyone have their little bit of airtime. And don't bother with it, because nothing worse than people streaming over each other. I don't get it, because they're only taking viewers from each other. It seems to be a thing, so I will gracefully step back for a week and then come back for me New Year's Day thing to do that. Pop that in there. Start pushing a few of these back. That one could do with it. Just at a jaunty angle with that one. And then we'll crack a corner off of one of those. I want to do too many because it's going to look like Arthur that built this wall was a bit Brahms and Liszt when he put it up. You know, and yeah. So we don't want to go too mad. My famous last words there, innit? Don't overdo it, Carl. Yeah. Get the toothpick out and just start putting little scratches across some of the bricks where cracks have started to form. So, round that off like that. Come across there, lose that corner on that one. Don't forget as well, you can actually knock a whole brick out and take a big chunk out of the corner of the wall like I did there. You just caught the corner of the wall there and just knocked a brick out. So, Gives it a bit of texture, doesn't it? There you go. We can start just defining some of these. Get my little tip one out there. Give that a twisty kins. There you go. Start rounding them ones down. What's that on the watch? That's the missus. Yeah, no worries. Happy days. That was your voice was quiet then. I didn't know whether you needed anything. She says she does worry. Checks up on me all the time. She's born worrier, bless her, but she's sort of said to me now when it comes to her going for the evening, because she goes out to work overnight, can I not be live streaming when she goes out, trying to end me shows round about 2:45, 3 o'clock at the latest, so that she knows I'm in the lounge, in the massage chair, not at risk of cutting myself with blades or anything. So, yeah, so my shows will run to quite a strict time limit going forward because I've got to be respectful to Helen, you know, she does worry. You know, I have killed over in here before. I knocked myself out in here one night. I fell out my chair and I smacked my head on the open drawer and it knocked me out. And of course, my boy come down in the morning to do his brekkie and then, you know, there's my feet poking out the door and he thought I was dead as a doornail, but I was just a little bit derpy still, you know. So she kind of put her foot down and said, yeah. This is the problem, see, I'm useless, I'm left alone, and yeah, only I can fall out of my chair. I fell into a cupboard, I've got stuck out here between the cupboard, I've got my head caught under the cupboard door. I'm trying to locate the footage. We did a live stream yonks and yonks ago, and I was asked about doing a Christmas video this year, and I want to put that particular bit of footage in here, and I'm trying to hunt it down because I've got it. But I got stuck on the live stream between me. I was building this computer at the time, and we was doing the moderator show for the Boomer back in the day. And I'm live on air with Fox, Si, Vincent and folks. And they noticed I'd gone quiet. So, of course, Si was like, you all right, mate? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, by the tone of your voice, he said, you've done something. He said, you're trying to hide something there. He said, what have you gone and done? I said, I may be stuck. And that was it. It degenerated into loads of mockage and everything. I said, but the one thing I want to know, I said, is my side webcam, because the webcam that you see there used to be on this side. I said, please let me know that it's not pointing at me at the moment. I said, because I'm trying to shuffle my way out and my trousers have fell down. So that was it. I was in a right old pickle. So I'm trying to locate that bit of footage, and if I can find it before Crimbo, I'll use it on a Crimbo video, because I haven't filmed one yet, because I specifically want to try and get that bit of footage. Again, like I say, you know, I don't want the Christmas video to be the same as it is every year, so I'm trying to, pardon me, I'm trying to keep a bit of variety. I don't know whether I'll do one or not yet, but if I can find the footage, I'll cobble it together and just release it as a bit of a blooper. But it still gets spoken about. I still get reminded about it constantly. It's like the night I leant back in my old chair and the back of my chair broke off because the weld failed. And I went flying backwards through the door that's got my paint rack on and went sliding across the kitchen floor. Donald Mackenzie says, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I need to do some spray painting and don't want to do it in the office. Good man. Legend. PJ says, by Christmas will be spent going through all the parts and planning my first build of 2024. It will be a 112 MFH Alfa Romeo 8C 2900B Miglia winner from 1948. I'm looking forward to it, as am I, mate. As am I. If I destroyed what you've written there, I do apologise, but yeah, looking forward to that, mate. Does like an MFH kit, but he does do it on justice. So yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? It's an MFH kit. What more could you say? And you'll notice with these big old breeze blocks, I've been quite heavy on the brush there on the edges, but I kind of want that. I don't know whether you notice it with old blocks, but they tend to have like little dips in them and little undulations and things, and that's what I'm trying to recreate along that bottom edge, because it would have had things knocked in the wall and chunks and detritus knocked out of it. So that's what we're trying to do, but that's going to sit behind Ringo. But yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. It's a great way to start the new year. Absolutely stunning kit. Doesn't do things by halves, PJ. But yeah, that's kind of what's going to be going on with Ringo. He's going to have that bit of wall going there. But I'm thinking about, like I say, just dropping a frame off of it that's derelict and rotten, maybe at the front here, another corner. So it almost is basically the old garage that he parked it in has become dilapidated. Dilapidated, I can't make with me big words. And it has fell down around the motor, you know, but like I say, there'll be old decayed posters and that. What do you reckon, folks? Reckon that'll work? Remnants of a collapsed workbench, that sort of thing. A few scattered old rusty tools. Yeah. Broken gate hanging off of here where it used to be on the wall there, and that's his way in. And This is how my brain works, folks. I sit here and I just have these little visions. Well, I say visions, but yeah. Might have to increase the height of it slightly. Mind you, though, the car garages aren't exactly tall structures, are they? Not in the UK, anyway. In America, a car garage is the size of an average British house, whereas in the UK, literally, a garage is, as long as you can open the door enough to breathe in and slide out the car, the building itself is about a foot bigger than the entire car. And the rooms are very low. I'm tall, and I always, as I walk out the garage, smack my canister on the roof beams. So, yeah. But I can cheat, and I can bring the wall up that way. So, just by making a section of breeze blocks and just adding them to the bottom there. So I'll do some measuring for scale, and I'll scale the height of the wall and get it as near as damn it as I can. Right, I can put them back. I'm going to put them back in the correct place because that was the first place I looked for these, so why not put them back where they should be with the photo etch bendy approach. Okay, so we'll be now putting a little bit of paint on Ringo just to start building that up. How are we doing there? Oh, actually, I've got half hour yet, so we'll start doing a bit of that on there. And that'll be a nice little evening spent with Ringo there. Then we can then think about, once the paint is on, putting the windows in. And letting him sit and that, and then the paint will all be dry enough then for a bit of a washykins. So, yeah, we'll do a bit of that. So let's get rid of the knife, have a bit of a quick tidy up. Stippling brush. They live in the pot of dodgy brushes that I've destroyed, but they really do come in useful. It's another thing I 3D printed was a little brick texture board that I can press into the phone. Okay, like that. And then you just spin it round, you put it on the styrofoam and roll it with your thumb. Lift it up and it gives you some brick texture. The only thing with it is lining all the things up. So, yeah, that was a little test one. That was for the little corner part. But, yeah, I shall do bigger ones. But kind of still prefer doing the bricks manually because you can adjust the size. It doesn't look too uniform. That's the way of wording it. Put that in there. That's my windows. See, so that'll be the screen there. That'll live there. That's proper knackered, isn't it? He says as it falls in the car as he tried to show it. Look. Yeah, it's proper been gnarled, that, isn't it? Look at that. Oh. I could hear the walking away music now. This lonely little beetle sat there with the Incredible Hulk music as Bill Bixby walks past the car. Gives it a little cursory glance. Oh, look at that little Volkswagen over there. I'll carry on me walking away music walk. Yeah. Right. So we're happy with those. Let's put them stealthily to one side. Drop that up over there for a minute. Get a little wet palette out. And then we can use a bit of blue. Now I'm using Luffen Blue. Now the box art for Ringo has a silver beetle on the main front part, but on the back part, sorry, it's upside down. Yeah, that actually, let's turn it the right way up because yeah, we're not in Australia. Put the effort in. There you go. See, that's the colour on the box art, and I like that blue. So the nearest proximity I add to it is a little bit darker, but it's got to have a wash on it. So I'm barely going to have any on this side. It's pretty much going to be exposed rust and pink primer with little increments of the blue just mottled almost across it. So yeah, because obviously with a tarp coming off the top there, this side of it's going to have a bit more shielding than the exposed area. That's my theory anyway. But we all know how theories work out for Festa, and they don't work out very well, do they? So let's give that a shaky, Kins, and I'm going to use a big old filbert brush on it. Big old dry brush filbert thing. And I'm just going to deftly caress the paint on there. That's the plan. We all know about best laid plans, don't we, folks? What have we got? Nice to hear the planning stages of a diorama. Yeah, Jeff, I'm a bit of an old wazzock. I like to sketch things. I'm currently sketching out the E-Models one. And yeah, so I have a little notepad there, and I'll just do a little isometric box. Bit of line drawing, you know, just start mapping out things, and then I'll always have annotation notes down the side, you know, use this to create this, create that, perhaps try this, you know, little different ideas. And then I take the ideas that float me boat from that, and that's what I'll implement in the dio. So let's spin that off of there. And I modified my Army Painter wet palette, and I've raided my Greebles box. This used to be a brush holder in the top of it, but I kind of glued a load of Greebles in there, and I use it as a texture palette as well now, so I can stipple stuff on there. But I can dry brush it on a texture. Takes most of the paint off, like so. And then when you stipple it, you're not putting too much paint on. Oh yeah. And then I can just definitely start circular motions across the wing of Ringo there. And it's just enough to feather on the paint, but still show the primer and the rust through it. And once you've done the washes and start blending the layers together, this will all come together then. And that's all I'm trying to do. Multiple thin coats. But if you can see, it's quite a mottled effect that it gives you. So the colour's there, but it's faded, but you're still seeing primer, rust, and things. And then I can go back over with me rust colour, where any of the blues got on the rust, and just re-embellish the rust. So again, 1,000,001 ways to do this. My way isn't the best way, don't get me wrong, but it works for little old me. And that's all I ever say to people when they ask me anything like this. I say, well, that's the technique I use. But don't forget, my environment is a lot more humid. I paint to a way that suits me and build my models to a way that suits me because of my unique dexterity problems. So what works for me might not work for you, but try it and adapt it to suit you. All it's about. Let's just try to bring a little bit of that along there. This is why I wanted to put the bonnet back on, so that I could try to just keep paint matching what I'm already doing. That makes sense. Again, I want a very, very faded amount on here, just so that you see that the blue paint was there, but it's kind of worn away. And then I'll come back at this with a sponge and go back over and capture some of the rust effect. And I do like this colour. It seemed it spoke to me, and it's like, yeah, Ringo would look pretty damn nice in that, because, like I say, the box art, it was a silver beetle, and I thought, yeah, but I don't know. It's just one of them. It works for me. Let's pick a bit of that up. Let's come over there and just take off a bit of the excess. I get all Bob Ross when I'm doing this, beat the devil out of it. Yeah. Legend, that was Bob Ross. I could imagine you doing that show, Jeff, the Bob Ross show. Just imagine you painting all those mountains and all of that lot. That would be a show I'd watch. The Joy of Painting. Jeff Koning, County Grand for Mongo. Oh, mate. I feel a millionaire status keep creeping in here, Jeff. If you do the show and you end up with a gazillion-acre mansion with all the money in the world, remember my little idea there, mate. I'd watch it. I'd tune in. Put a little bit more of that in there. There you go. What's going on in the chat? Space Ranger says, yeah, happy accidents. Yeah, I'm so sad. I've got all of the Joy of Painting stuff on my computer server, mate. And I do love a bit of Bobby Ross. Or Bob Ross, should I say. Bobby Ross? Yeah. But yeah, I do like a bit of Bob Ross. I first came across him in hospital after a motorcycle accident. And it was on the daytime TV back then in the local hospital. And who is this man with this big raging afro? It was very, very therapeutic television. And a lot of the patients there watched this guy. And we, in the end, it's all sat there, hey, that bloke with the paintbrushes is going to be on. We'd all be there. We couldn't go anywhere. We were all bedridden in traction devices and that. But it was, yeah, put that on, put the telly on. Because back then, hospital TV was a big old cathode ray television in a big cage, kicked in the corner of the room and bolted down with so many bolts to stop people nicking it. But people used to still take the tellies. Yeah, and that's how I came across Bob Ross. Was the 11 months that I spent in Lord Mayor Treloar Hospital after the motorcycle crash. God, the chaos we caused in that hospital, them poor nurses. I was like that red character out of Shawshank Redemption that Morgan Freeman played. I was the man that could get you things. And in the hospital, the first thing I did is I started gathering up all the condiments. So I ended up with a drawer full of tomato sauce, brown sauce, salt, pepper, that sort of thing, you know, and that was my contraband. Because, like anything, salt, pepper and all of that lot, trying to get that in hospital was a nightmare. You could never get it. So, yeah, I used to have a stash of it. And, of course, people were like, yeah, you got any salt over there? Oh, what you got? Oh, you got some rhubarb and custards there. I'll trade you some rhubarb and custards for a sachet of my brown sauce. And Oh dear. My missus was like, I'll leave you alone for 5 minutes and already you're wheeler dealer-ing. Yeah. Couldn't help myself. But yeah, Bob Ross, he was the staple of our day. Yeah. Died very young, didn't it? So sad. Bless him. Wonderful, wonderful personality to have on a TV show. Whoever discovered him and got him to stand in front of the camera and paint like he did in the way that he did and present the way he did was a damn genius. Because, yeah, who would have thought it? We had something in the UK years and years ago, and people of my age are now going to remember this show. And it was a show in the UK called Paint Along with Nancy. And that was the nearest we had to Bob Ross. And it was years before Bob Ross came out. And as a kid, I used to watch this woman do these wonderful artistic creations. And it got me into drawing, watching her show and doing caricatures and things like that. And then obviously Bob Ross come along, and Helen's always wanted to paint, and my youngest lad paints. He's got a big artist at his house, and he watches Bob Ross avidly, and he's got all the fan brushes and all of that lot, the big canvases, and he'll sit and paint anything, you know, and I love that. He's got that creative gene in him, and yeah, whereas the missus, she can't draw for detritus, should we say. I won't say it. But I'm lucky I could do caricatures back then. I haven't done one for years because as me shakes took over, I spent more time rubbing out mistakes than I did actually doing the drawing. And for me, that just took the fun away. And yeah. But Cal's got it. He's continuing it on. And my nephew's the same. He's very artistic. He's got a Facebook page with all these drawings in, and it's just unreal. I keep saying to him to post in my gallery on my show and I'll pimp it. So I'll have to bat him another reminder and say, pull your finger out. But, yeah, if you're on Facebook, there's a there's a group called Drawings by Daz, D-A-Z. And yeah, that's my nephew, that is. What a talented man he is. Yeah, it's just taking it to that next level. He does a lot of pen and ink stuff of celebrities and portrait work and things like that. And he did one. My sister's a huge Tina Turner fan, my youngest sister. And when Tina Turner sadly died, he did one for her birthday of Tina Turner. And it's absolutely a thing of beauty. It really is. He captured every part of her personality, her hair, the way she sort of crunched up as she sang, you know, that sort of thing. He really nailed it. Her stance, her posture, all of that lot. And to me, that's a skill. Let's just rest that back in place. I'll glue that back on in a minute. I had a feeling that would come off. There you go, very smidge of paint there. Yeah. Poor old Ringo. Look at him. Oh, poor little thing. Just a little bit of a fade just on the edge there. Yeah. I'll do for his top coat. Happy days. Need me brush. Oil painting equals painting with mud. Absolutely. Jeff Light says Festa the fence. Absolutely, mate. Honestly, mate, it was... I loved it. But the stuff I managed to get whilst I was in hospital, mate. You know, it was one of those. Yeah. Got to be done, innit? You've got to do these things, haven't you? You know, you've got to stay like that. You know, you've got to occupy yourself, get up to a bit of a mischief. And it was even worse once I started getting mobile and could get around on sticks rather than in the wheelchair that the hospital gave you. Oh, mate, there wasn't an area of that hospital that I didn't investigate purely and simply to see what things were left laying around that I could acquire and mark up and pass along to other patients, because, yeah. Chaos I caused in Trelaws. There you go. A bit of fresh water. Back in there. I have got a new pot of this coming, folks, because it is the world's scuzziest brush cleaning pot. But it's had many, many years of use, this. And it always makes Fox cringe when he sees how scuzzy it is. But, you know, it's brush cleaner. You know, I use a lot of it and, you know, bung it on the brush. But, you know, he's a very neat freak, OCD like that. Whereas me, you know, it's a practical thing. You know, if you have an oil bath, you don't clean the oil out every day. You just leave the oil in there. It gets more and more grit and detritus in it. A bit like my Dettol tank. You know, the amount of paint crud that's probably in the bottom of that. And every year I just pour it out, filter the Dettol, get the large chunks of the paint out, bung the Dettol back in and just add a fresh bottle. So it's a permanently filled up old automotive parts washer full up with Dettol with a pump in it. And I put all my stuff in there that needs stripping, to switch the pump on and just leave it circulating. And that pot, that tank of Dettol there, some of that Dettol's got to be at least 6 years old. And it still goes strong. You know, all I tend to do is I take it outside, I leave the lid up for a day, let some of it evaporate off, siphon it all out, clean all the detritus, pour it back through a sieve to get anything else out of it. It's good to go. Fresh bottle. Pardon me. Right, so we've got a bit of that going on. What colours did I use? Bit of Rhinox, if I remember rightly, on there. So let's dig some of that out. Let's come back. He says looking for it. There we go. Let's come back and start picking out some of that old rust there. And then the rest of it I'll do with a sponge. See if we can pick some of that out. There you go. A bit of that. Let's put that back over there. What paintbrush do we want for that? Do we use a smaller one? Yeah, let's use that one. Yeah, that's perfect. Because that'll let me get in there and do deft, tinsy-wincy little bit of rusticules. Because that is a word of rusticule, I think. Might be one of my Festa made up words, PJ. Rusticules. Rusticles. There you go. Let's have a bit of that. How are we doing for time? Oh, I've got 15 minutes yet, so we'll just have a little bit of a pick out with some of this rust, and then we'll wrap up them for the night. Hopefully you've enjoyed a little bit of time with me on me lonesome tonight, folks. It's only a recent thing that I started doing was the solo streams. It was my nemesis. I had convinced myself that no one would turn up and watch me if I was streaming on my own. And I got it into my head that, you know, there you go. And, yeah. What's that? Haunted Halloween says hi to Lewis. He says, where's Fox? He's got a sick note tonight, mate. He's thrown a sickie. So, yeah. So, I'll get well soon and all of that lot. But yeah, he's thrown a sickie. And I wasn't going to pull the show just because Fox ain't in. It's like, no. Show's got to go on, isn't it? Because people get used to their little Friday show. This is what I was saying about not solo streaming before it. I would have 6 months ago, I would have just cancelled the stream because I had convinced myself that I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. That people wouldn't want to just see me on the screen because I'm only Festa at the end of the day. I'm not a celebrity, not like the Guru. So it became a barrier for me, and I broke the hoodoo with the E-Models earlier on with a big 1/16 scale, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And afterwards, I was like, why on earth did I convince myself I couldn't do it? But we all do it. We all put barriers up, don't we, in life to prevent us from coming out of our comfort zones. So when he said he couldn't make it tonight, my first reaction was, well, I've got solo overlays. I've got a solo thumbnail for all my streams, so I'll just do it on my own. Because at the end of the day, you're the important people, not me. You know, you're the audience. This is yours. This is all about putting stuff out that you can sit and watch whilst you're at your benches, and hopefully, I would say you might be inspired by some of the things I do. If you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. But why not? Let's just put a stream out. Because I would have been sat here doing this anyway. So, you know, all I've got to do is hit the live button, isn't it? And if you can put up with my inane drivel and my inane meaningless rambling, I'm all ears. And it's also going to help with the gaming content, because I haven't forgotten. I said at the beginning of the year that I would do some Grim Fandango and stuff like that, bit of retro gaming ready for when I start my Xbox journey. And I will do them, you know, there'll be just random streams that go up, you know, and I'm not going to pre-plan it. It'll just be, you know, I might be having a crummy day and I might just be doing a bit of gaming, so I'll just hit the live button. This is where ringing the bell comes in, folks, because if you want to be notified of these streams, ring that little bell, just there. That one there, right next to that big button that says subscribe. So, yeah. So we've got all of that coming, but I kind of want to focus the first part of the year catching up with all of the builds that I had started, but also editing a lot of the raw footage that I've got laying around, because I want to put some content up, because 2023 has been a bit of a scab year for me, and I'm very, very mindful. You know, I've got one guy in the chat there, PJ, he's built 35 kits. You know, it's put me to shame, and don't get me wrong, he understands the reasons why, and he understands fully. But I am mindful that, you know, I've not done many video builds this year, and I want to try and get back into my regular video builds and get stuff up there. Hence why I've done the subtle thing about the scale mates, because, you know, have a look through it. If there's a build in there that you think, actually, yeah, can you film that, Cole? Then I'll dig the kit out, I'll label it up for filming, and I'll sit and film it. You know, because my idea of what people might want to see is biased, because it's what I enjoy building. But, you know, you might see something in the stash that is quite obscure or you haven't seen a video for. And you might go, here, Carl, what's up, geez? You know, you've got that kit of that and them two blokes on a motorcycle sidecar nicking a bit of pork. Couldn't build that, could you? Yeah, of course I will. And that becomes your build then, because when I do all the intros and everything, this build was kindly chosen out of my stash by so-and-so from the chat. So you get a nice little bit of a shout out as well. See? Just my way of saying thanks. You know, I've got the big 1/8 Jag that I'm going to be filming. That'll be popping on the show for different little bits at various times for the year. But that's going to be my big background build. And then when that's done, the Eagle Transporter's coming out. So, yeah, you'll have the Jag, you'll have the Eagle Transporter. And if I have a good year, I might even be able to get the big GT40 in. So there's a few of them sort of builds I want as background builds that I can just pop in the show on a Friday and go, oh, I'm doing a bit on this build, but doing a bit on the Eagle tonight. I don't know, C1 metallising the bells on a thruster bells. You know, it could be something as simple as that I'm doing. Or it could be an intricate bit of wiring or brake pipes for the Jag or whatever. And luckily for me, I film as I'm streaming. I've got a camera just literally right in front of me that I'm filming this on for the channel, see? So I'm killing two birds with the one stone, folks. So that's how I get all of my footage, because the first thing I do of a night, whether I'm in a hangout with the lads and the lassies or whatever, as soon as I sit down at the bench and start putting something on the bench, I switch the video camera on. I just start video camera, the iPhone, and I just start recording. Then I save all the footage, edit it together, and it becomes a video for the channel. Might as well, because some of my better work I've done in a hangout, because you're not under pressure to film. It may sound really bizarre, but if you sit down and go, right, today I'm going to film a 1 hour channel video on putting this together, you know everything you do is going to go Pete Tong that day. Because in your mind, you've convinced yourself you've got to do it for the channel today. Whereas if I'm in the hangout, shooting the breeze like we are now with just folks in the chat and in the hangout, just shooting the breeze and chatting about football or whatever is the subject of the day, you can get a lot more done and you can do some of your better work. So for me, it's just another way or another little bit of ammo I've got. Where on a bad day where I can't pick up a paintbrush or do any building because of the curse of the MS, I can actually sit and edit the video and feel I've achieved something that way. So, and of course it will give you all a nice bit of content. So that is a rust splodge under there, Cole. So let's just start picking that out again. This is just one colour of rust I'm putting down at the moment. I will come back over it with all the other little shades, but I just want to bring out the shadows that are laying under the paint. Some I'll leave there because the paint has come off and the rust is just beginning to form. But it's beginning to come alive. Oh, look at him. Oh, poor little Ringo. Sorry, Ringo. Yeah. Just hold the wrist there, try and stop that tremor. There you go. Things we have to do. There you go. Have you a bit of that? I've had some good feedback as well on the part work stuff, and the channel's not going to become solely part works, folks. I just want to point that one out. It's not going to be Festa 67 Workshop part work channel. It's just that's work for me. They kindly send me these things to build for them, and that's kind of my job. So hence why they go up, because I'm on a schedule, and you know, you get the stuff, you build it, you get it out there so that they can sell it. So that's why you're seeing a lot of that at the moment. But it's not going to be the whole channel devoted to that. You know, I will get some scale modelling stuff back up. I just need to pull my thumb out my bum and get it all edited. Once I've got the backlog done, then I can adapt things and do part work filming on a Tuesday, schedule all of them, and then my Thursday filming day is stuff for the channel that I release at the weekend so that you get regular content that way. So bear with me. That will change and normal service shall resume. In case you think that I'm just going to end up doing solely part works, that's not the case. It's just unfortunate at the moment that where it all suddenly kicked in and became a thing, I kind of got sent quite a lot of them to do, and I've kind of blinkered and got engrossed in keeping them happy and taken my eye off the ball very, very slightly. But I've noticed that, and I will rectify it, because this is the sort of stuff that's my bread and butter. This is what I'm known for. Weird little Festa brain stuff, and I want to keep that going, because the ultimate pleasure for me is plastic scale models. That is my thing. I love every minute of doing it. I totally have the utmost of respect for the higher level shiny car people. I'm fascinated by it. I don't mind doing the odd one, but it's not my niche. I'm not an expert at it. I leave it to those that are to do that. But stuff like this, where I can do battered stuff with a story, stimulates me a lot more, because it brings out that inner child that is in me of randomly doing odd stuff to model kits. And I like that. And that's what keeps me going and stimulating and things. So I want to kind of get back to the love of the hobby, which has been strange this year, because a lot of us know there can be a lot of drama in this community, personality clashes and things like that with people, and I try to avoid that. But sometimes people try to drag you into it, and it becomes a thing, and that's when I then get the ump with the hobby, because it's like, I'm not in it for that. I just want to sit here and build my models. So I was messaging with PJ earlier, and I've now distancing myself from it and reviewing certain groups and things like that, and are now going, yeah, actually, I don't need toxicity, so I'm going to avoid that whole side, if that makes sense. Because as a depressive person, you don't need to put yourself in areas that are going to bring you down. So there'll be a few changes. I'm not going to stop this hobby if I can help it, because it keeps you going. But, you know, the part work things, you know, that's exposure for the channel. It's work. It's, you know, they kindly send me the part works for nothing, but I obviously have obligations to film for them and do it a certain way. And so, without going into too much details on the contract side, that's why you're seeing a lot of that at the moment. And now that it's established and I've developed a routine where Monday, Wednesday, Fridays they're released, because as soon as I get delivery, I film it. And then they're all put up on YouTube on a schedule. I don't have to worry about it then for another month. And I then want to use that time to get back into all of my stuff. Have a look at Scalemates, folks. If you're not on there, get your stash on there. I'm on there. Send me a request. It's Festa 67's workshop. Same logo and everything on Scalemates. Hit me up. It might take me 24 hours before I add you, because I'm not on there every day. Have a look at the stash. And if you see something that pricks your eyes and you think, oh, I'd like to see you do that, I'll put a poll up on the group each month. And I'll say, right, these are the 5 kits that people have asked on Scalemates. Let's have a poll. What one would you like me to do next? And that's it. You know, and I think it will help the audience, help you all feel a bit more involved in the direction of the channel as well. That's what it's all about. The only way I can give back is to try to help you all feel more involved in what I do. Because I couldn't do this without you, so there you go. Oh, yeah, all day long. Yeah, that was me being happy there. Haunted Alloway says, all right, we'll do. Right on, says Space Rangers. Q Gordon says, Google 00 gauge boats. There's quite a few suppliers. Old Airfix, I think, he says. That's a conversation he's having with Haunted Halloween. He says, where can I get vintage boats from that's 00? Yeah, Hugh's your man there, mate. He's proper into all of that stuff, mate. Yeah, something I haven't done much of boats. I've got a big old black pearl to do. I'm going to try and light it up and have a bit of audio of cannons going and stuff like that. The only other boat or ship I've got is the big Nimitz up there that I must pull down and finish off. But yeah, I just want to try and get as much variety on the channel as possible, because For years I was known as a bike builder, and I got sick to death of building bikes in the end. So I took a break from them. And then I did the bus, and I ended up with 4 commissions for buses, and it was like, yeah, so I just want to get into different things. It's like Warhammer. Fox got me into that, but I became conscious that for a period of time, 90% of my live streams, I was painting something Warhammer. And it's all right for Fox. That's his niche. That's his love. That's his passion. That's what he's known for. But I started to really lose my mojo because it all became about Warhammer, and that for me wasn't very stimulating for me. So I had to make a change there. And I have said to Fox, I will start doing some Warhammer Sundays with him again at some point. But with real life things and that, and I just needed a bit of a breather from it. So I started binge building a lot of it ready for painting, but going forward, the Warhammer stuff will probably predominantly live, for me anyway, when I go and stream with Fox on his channel for Warhammer. And then I can get back to doing my bread and butter stuff. So fingers crossed. We're going to have a bit of a plan for next year. But you know what happens with all my plans I make, folks? Bear that in mind. I will try my best. I've got a little bit more to pick out on that bonnet, and then we'll call that a stream then, because I just want to do these last little few areas here where I've gone over some of the rust with the blue, just to bring out the darker colours, and then I can go in with me sponge then, do the lighter rust. And a lot of this will probably disappear again when I start putting all the washes on, but it looks a bit like a Dalmatian at the moment, but it will blend in, he says, hoping. Have you some of that, my son? And don't forget as well, PJ's crew, Roland and that, they're doing a Christmas stream. 23rd, I think it is, the Friday Modelers show. So keep an eye out for that, folks. If you want to pop a link in, PJ, you can do, mate. You are an admin. You know me, mate, I don't mind. But if you want to bung a link in for it as a reminder, I think it's on the group as well. But I like to return the favours, you know. He's good enough to pimp my stuff. The least I can do is return the favour. So have a look out for that. I shall be doing a frolic that night with Fox anyway, so I shall be about all evening. I will go and badger PJ and the crew in the chat and just mercilessly mock them all, because that's what I do. So look out for that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's beginning, very early stages, beginning to come alive. And for me, it was just nice to give Ringo a bit of a revisit, because, yeah, I've got another one that I haven't visited for a while. I started a food truck, and all I'll say with my food truck is the saw came out, because years ago I saw one done a certain way for a TV show, and I wanted to replicate it. And yeah, so the saw came out, and then obviously life got in the way. But it's next to me on my right-hand side, and that's one that I'm solely filming for members and patrons. So it will go up. The first videos for that will start going up soon. And then once you've all seen it, I shall then put it on general release. But it's just a little perk for patrons and members to get first dibs on that, because yeah, I may have got carried away on that, I'll freely admit it. Let's just give me brush a bit of a clean. It says with the scuzziest, dirtiest water in the world over there. Let's refill that with some clean water. A little brush pot up there in case you wonder what that gurgling is. That's my little pot of fresh water. Clean all my brushes with. But as usual, me being me, I start using it and there you go. All of that. Have you some of that. Get the old water out. All clean, nice and sexy. Happy days. Off. So what have we done at night? Let's pop that out of the way. First thing I haven't done is stood up, but I'm going to be closing the stream down now anyway, so I shall be going next door to my comfy massage chair for the evening. So what have we been up to? We've done a bit of the old Ringo Kins there, who's had a little bit of a coat. But look at him. Poor knackered old thing, isn't he? Oh, bless him. So we've started bringing back some of the underlying rust. Now that it's had a base of the top colour on, I can then put the windows in. And we can start putting all the washes on this then and dirtying it up. And there's going to be moss streaks and all of that lot on it. And obviously the running boards have got to have their coat on there. So that's him looking rather splendid. I've deliberately left the pink there because there's going to be a puddle of resin there that's going to have like a moss green effect on there. So I'll probably feather over a faint bit of blue. Yeah, that's going to be like a resin poured puddle there of dirty mossy water on there. And then we did the rest of the wall there, started doing the brickwork on that, and that will then sit behind Ringo. And I think an old derelict garage, so a little bit of a concrete floor, some rubble where the walls have collapsed, and then a little bit of static grass where nature's started growing over through all the cracks in the floor. So we done that. And then we did a little bit of the broken glass there that's beginning to start coming alive, as you can see, now that the glue's doing its thing. So we got a bit of that. So once that's all in the car, that'll then have all the same layers of wash going over the whole vehicle to try and dirty it up the same. And there's the other one there where the little local tearaways have been throwing stones at poor old Ringo there. Top job, PJ. PJ's put a link in there. Don't forget, folks, the Modelers Friday Night Live show is on the 22nd, at 7 p.m. UK. You got your best build of 2023 gallery and a fun quiz. Oh dear. Oh dear, you lot trying to do a quiz. Oh, that is going to so degenerate. I've got an evening of mockage lined up for you then. Space Rangers says, I take life day by day. So do I, mate. Yeah, your good, better, best is how I run my life, mate, to be honest with you. You have good days, better days, and your best day, and go with that. Jeff says he's looking forward to it. Haunted Halloween says, what's 1-2-2-5 scale? That's an odd scale. Heard of one, is it 1-350? But not 1-2-2-5. I've not heard of that. Not a railway scale, is it? Strange. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know because I ain't got a clue, mate. You know, I mean, I'm a car and bike builder and a little bit of armour, so I don't know many different scales, to be honest with you. So that's Ringo's night of enjoyment done. So we can pop that in a safe spot and wrap up for the night, folks. So massive thanks for all of you that have come in and kept me company tonight. Apologies, Fox didn't show up. Nothing I could do about that. Normal service should resume next week. But in the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Stay well, look after yourselves. And I will see you Sunday for the Sunday at the Bench at 2 p.m, folks, on this very same channel. So until then, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you on the next one, mate. Bye for now. Oh, look at Ringo. Oh, walking away music.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best.